Oh man, it's really exciting to talk to you. Cause you know, like you only hear one side of a story, of course. And so especially when I was young, it was just like, Ricky Williams just wanted to smoke weed and he threw away his whole NFL career because he wanted to get high. You know what I mean? When I saw your 30 for 30 and I get to watch you speak from your own experience, I was like, wow, this nigga is just free as fuck and he's not being bound by any of this shit. How did you get that mentality?
People make a big deal about growing up without a father in the house. And I think, there's things that I missed, but the one thing that I got was freedom. My mom, she worked and then she went to school at night. And so all day it was just me doing my thing. And my mom always taught me to be free. The disadvantage was I wasn't around a lot of people like me.
When you say people like you, what do you mean?
I mean, Black people.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, Black people. And Black people as a community. I think in Southern California, we have pockets. But when I went to the South, it was bigger than pockets. It was huge communities.
That's so interesting because, like, I feel like I had that same experience coming from Boston to Atlanta. I grew up in Boston where it's like Black people live in like one corner of the city, and then it's like it's as white as it could be. And I always felt like I was a weird kid for where I grew up. I listened to alternative music. I liked Marilyn Manson. I was always dyeing my hair some color with like Kool-Aid. And then I went to Atlanta, and it was like all these white people in all kinds of it was really mind-blowing. And they say the South is like less progressive in so many ways, but in that way, I found it way more progressive than like where I had come from. You know what I mean?
I'm right with you on that one. Yeah.
So making that transition and seeing, did that just like increase your like validation of like, nah, I'm doing the right thing by just like doing my own thing?
Actually, it was the opposite because I was living in the context of a football team, and there was an expectation that I was supposed to be the hero, and I wasn't. And they gave me the nickname Ricky Weirdo, just because I was different. I was sitting in my locker reading astrology books. I had my nose pierced, my tongue pierced, my nipples pierced. I just was different.
Right. How did you land in football and not like surfing or some shit?
One, I was good at it. And I think when you're young, you're trying to find what you're good at because it helps you develop your identity. And I think two, I had to prove that I was Black. Because, I grew up and I just was a curious kid and, I started to read really early. And so when I got to school, they used to beat me up because they said I talked like I was white or I talked proper. And so when I started, we got to PE and I could run faster than everybody, then they started to be like, okay, and they started to respect me. And that was just it. It was identity.
It was a way to fit in.
It was a way to fit in. In my mind, when I got to the NFL, they would let me be myself. And it was exactly the opposite.
I mean, I feel like you get to the NFL as a Black man, it's like this is kind of the highest thing you could be. It's, in a lot of communities, you go to the NFL, man, you made it. You did the ultimate thing. How do you walk away from that?
Because it's not true. When I got there, I realized that I'm not here to make it. I'm here to use this platform to have a voice.
So do you feel like football was a checkpoint for you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And something told me I need a break. And so literally I had a globe, right? And I spun the globe and I closed my eyes and I just put my finger and it landed in Australia. So I spent 2 months in Australia. And I remember the moment I picked up the phone to call the NFL and tell them I was retiring, I saw my whole life flash in front of my face. And I realized that every meaningful experience in my life was somehow connected to football. And it was scary. When I started traveling, I was in Australia looking for land because I thought I was never coming back. And I realized I don't have a skill. I don't know how to do shit except for play football. And I just started reflecting and I realized the moments that I felt happiest is where I was helping people. So I thought maybe I want to heal people. And so I started studying alternative medicine. And from there, I took a yoga class and I just fell in love with it. So I went to the yoga retreat and then I met the teacher there and then she was amazing. She taught me astrology and she said, I'm going to India next week. So I went with her and she was like, we're going to the Himalayas to meditate in a cave for a week. Would you like to come? And how can you say no to that, right? I feel like the priority of my life is,
I would say no to
experiences.
Fuck no, that's how I would say no to it.
I couldn't say no. All my friends told me I lost my mind. All of them. They told me I was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy just hearing it right here. Like, whoa, what the fuck? But there's this other part of me that thinks you're not doing anything different than when you watch Eat, Pray, Love.
That's exactly what it was.
And the lady's just like, hey, I've done this version of life. I want to see this version of life. But I think when it comes to niggas, it's just you really have to conquer some shit to even start to think about who the fuck it is you are.